she'll let her introduce herself. Do you need to, you want to?
No,
Okay.
I hope y'all can hear me, right? My name is Dawn Felton, and I am the mother of Kwadir Felton. And I am the founder of the Southwoods Family Unite. This group is for family members and friends that have kin in Southwoods State Penitentiary to share information about what is going on in the inside. Now, I have a son that's housed at Southwoods State Prison. On January 10th, 2010, he was shot in the head by a Jersey City police officer. And currently now, he's legally blind. And we went to trial. He lost trial, and they gave him 16 years. The cops said that my son came up to his car with a gun and tried to rob him. And he was found guilty, and they had a gun, but the gun had no fingerprints, no DNA of my son's on this gun that they said that my son allegedly had to go rob the police officer. So, it just hurts every time I talk about it, because he's in the prison where, and I couldn't believe they sent him to state prison because of his condition. They don't care. He's black, you know, they don't care. So, but I speak with him every day, and I used to go see him every week, but it's just that ever since this incident happened, my health has deteriorated. So I can't really go like I used to, but I speak with him every day. And he said I asked him how he's doing, and, he tells me that he's okay, but it's just, basically he can't even see. So he's just, in there, and so, I speak with him and I ask him what goes on in the prison. Even though, he can only hear and listen to what people say because he basically can't see. So he says the COs are very disrespectful to them. Treats them like they just a pizza, And he said they cheat them out of their rec time. He tells them he doesn't get to see the doctors that he needs to see. Now, mind you, my son was shot in the head. It went through and through. They tried to kill him. Because either way you shoot somebody in the head, and then 3 or 4 days you take him out of the hospital, out of the ICU, and put him in a county jail and give him a $500,000 bail. So, but. And another thing is the showers for my son, because he's handicapped, but they don't consider him handicapped. They consider him as a regular inmate, even though he can't see nothing. But the showers, he has a problem. He said the guys jump in the shower, the handicapped shower that's not handicapped, and sometimes he has to wait till the next day to take a shower, and to me, I just don't understand, how do they send blind people to state prison? I just don't understand it, but it's just so much to my son's story. I wish I could tell y'all the whole story of what really, happened to my son.
And there's an article in here.
It's the article in there that tells a lot about the story too. Of course it was a white cop that shot my son, and he never followed none of the procedures that an officer's supposed to follow. And they found my son guilty.
I have a friend that's also in the prison. He might be able to help him, because he helped the guy that killed the girl that was going to come to regional school. Yeah, the guy helped him,
Okay.
and he hung. He's
Okay.
supposed to have killed somebody. He saw him, he might be able to help him. His name is Michael Bell.
Michael Bell.
He's very educated. He's a drug dealer, but he's a very educated man.
Oh,
He knows his work. He knows, about the law. He might be able to
okay.
help your son.
I wouldn't mind giving him a call, but my son,
He's inside Southwood?
he's in
Yes.
Southwoods.
Yes.
He has two paralegals that's working on on his case, and I basically sent them the transcripts of the trial. I sent them his medical record. His medical record is 204 pages long. Because, and he's just a blessing, because usually when you get shot in the head, it's very seldom that you survive. And the only thing it did to him was took his eyesight away. But,
That's everything right there. Just
Yes.
not having eyesight to get around and
exactly,
do things.
exactly. Okay, yes.
Hi, have you ever thought about contacting the Vincent Project, or also like giving this some more media exposure? And thirdly of all, you could contact some of the civil rights leaders, like the Trump guy. You could contact him, you write him and you just explain it and you copy your stuff and send it to him. It's all worth the shot
Okay.
to jump into. That's what I think, they need some support, somebody to help get
Okay. When this first happened,
the company.
we had all the support in the world. He was shot on January 10th. He was sent to jail on January 14th. We got him out on bail on February 11th, 2010. February 18th, they came knocking on my door 5:30 in the morning and said they had a warrant for his arrest for conspiracy, drugs. So, we had everybody on our side, but as soon as they had to sugarcoat it with the drugs, everybody pulled back.
They never caught him with actual drugs.
And never caught him with not a piece of drug. And then they come and get him, he was blind.
But I'm gonna tell you some of these celebrities that I think, like Jamie Foxx, Oprah. You need to get the story out on a higher media level.
Okay.
Like CNN, you gotta get it out there in a way that is past this local stuff.
Okay.
And I will also ask still for the federal government, Department of Justice, to look into these.
I did. I wrote Eric Holder. I wrote him a letter about how this officer that shot my son, he never wrote a police report. He never filed a use of force, excessive force or use of force. There's two of them. He never did that. He never testified at his own hearing, grand jury hearing. He never testified at his own excessive force hearing. This cop did nothing. And what he did was he violated the Attorney General guidelines because he never filed any of this paperwork. That's why they had to bring the conspiracy, because there was never a gun. The cop said my son came up to the car with the gun in his hand. He glocked the gun, put the bullet in the chamber and
Where's
all.
the gun?
All that in front of the cop?
They,
You supposed to did all that in front of the cop?
yeah,
Well, I
They-
and the
have
cop was
videotape.
scared for his
I
life.
ain't be-
The camera, there's a camera right there on the corner. First, we got 3 different stories. First, it wasn't working.
Excuse me, now, no disrespect, not to cut you off or nothing like that, but you sitting there telling me that this man sat here in front of a cop with a gun, put a bullet in the gun to shoot the cop, and the cop didn't react?
You shot him in the head.
He shot my.
That's his justification for why he did what he did.
I ain't beat for that.
No, none of us are, but she's explaining.
No, what I'm saying, though, what I mean is, the fact is, if I'm gonna shoot you, you gonna let me sit there and put a bullet in a gun?
Right, but they go grossly to lie. So the
They
lie.
got medication for that.
Right, the lie can be big as the whole wide world.
Right or wrong?
Right?
Well, this gun left the site, came back to the site, was moved. The only DNA on it was the cop's DNA.
Yeah, 'cause the cop that shot him touched the gun.
But this is what they do. When they after people, they in their vehicles, they're riding around with drugs and guns, and then they'll say, oh, and then, all that, they do that.
I'm gonna tell you what the cop did
I'm sorry.
after he shot my son. What he did was, he radioed the state police, he radioed the other guy, the other officers that's supposed to be on surveillance with him.
He's a
Told
county
them,
worker. He's not even a state worker.
he was the cop, the
Yeah,
officer,
he
he was a
wasn't a
sergeant,
Yeah, but was he a county worker or
Jersey
was he a
City.
state worker?
Jersey
You said-
City.
Okay, that's,
He
I was
read-
asking, but she said they called for the state police.
Yeah.
So we
We
must
call
be
for
a county.
additional backup, and
He
they gonna all justify
was-
trying to get these stories right.
See, what he did was he called them, but he sent them to a different location and told them there were shots fired on another location. So they went to that location and spent 25 to 30 minutes there. Then he decides to pull that he shot my son in the head. 25, 30 minutes later. So they done put the gun, they done wiped the gun off, they done put the gun down there. And it's just an absolutely mess, but I'm still fighting and I'm not giving up.
And that's what you do, you keep fighting, and you keep being encouraged, like, don't ever get low moments. I know that it's hard, and I haven't had a child that experienced that, but I did recently just win a case with my son in court, and he's only 17 years old,
Okay.
for a police officer charging him with aggravated assault without an attorney. Because I just let the story play out. I got up there, I told my son, you won't be testifying, I'm going to testify. And when they said not guilty, the whole courtroom went crazy.
Mhm,
And I said, no, that's because I'm your mom and I know what's going on here.
mhm.
They charged him with resisting arrest, aggravated assault on a police officer, and in public indecency. If you're in your house, it's not in the public. You can do whatever you want to do in your house, as long as you don't cause an annoyance to your neighbors and into your community. I can walk around, do whatever I want to do, dance to the floors fall in. As long as I'm not infringing my rights on anyone, I can do what I want to do in my house. So the police officer actually came in real quick, I didn't cut you off, for another child of mine. And they jumped on my other son. So when we go to court, I said to them, the judge said, well, Ms. Gills, you can testify. So I stand up and testify, and when I got done, the lawyer, the public defender, she said, never did they ever say that they was harmed by Mr. Gamble, which is my son, Rico, that the cop was ever harmed. So you can't charge them with aggravated assault on the police officer because you never said that he harmed you. So I was like, yes, because I already know that he was going to get a not guilty verdict. They left out of there cussing, telling my son, you better watch it, and this and that.
We were harassed the whole thing. My
But
son was
It
followed.
gave me such joy to know that you hardly ever can get a not guilty on an aggravated assault on a police officer. That
Yeah.
charge sticks
That's
no
true.
matter if you didn't do nothing and you had your hands folded and you were sitting in Indian style, you're gonna wear that charge. But so for me and my son to have accomplished that with his public defender, he had a lot of good things going for him. He has a job, he works, but he was attacked by the school, so like he hadn't really been attending school. And, some things was going on with him as a result of the local high school that he's attending. And I said, that has no bearing on the fact that you came in here and attacked my son. He was son. You were supposed to get the one outside, but you thought it was him, so your assumptions caused you to make a wrongful move in my home and create this annoyance. And now you're trying to protect and cover up because you done pepper gassed them, and I'm howling and screaming now because you done hurt my son, and now you're trying to justify it. So you do that? I said, believe me, you're not going to get away with it. Trust me. I'm going to fight for my son. So he was in a juvie like overnight, and then he got out.
My son never had a record, never been arrested,
Right.
never had a juvenile record, never been in trouble.
Can I hear what happened to the videotape? Because you started on that. They said
I'm
at first
sorry.
it wasn't available.
Oh, yeah. First, it wasn't working. Second, let me say there's so many different stories. Lord have mercy. Second, first it wasn't working. Second, it was blurry. You can't see it. Third, it only picked up after the shooting.
So with the shoe, that could have been anybody. If you couldn't see the person, I don't know how they could one without even having his, well, you seen him. It was too blurry.
What happens is, we're not real knowledgeable about the law, and you don't have the ability to push the paperwork on a pro se motion, because you can win things on pro se, but you just have to know how to properly word it, because wording is everything. You can say things and perception can get misplaced, or it can be, that's just like we were saying about the blog. The wording is the most important thing, because if you don't say what you need to say, you know, your stance is, it falls to the ground. Or your position can stay high as long as, you know, you make sure you word things correctly.
Right.
And that's the important thing, and that's what they did, and all that paperwork.
And when this happened to my son, them same meetings that you're having today, we had them 5 years ago. You know, we had them every Wednesday, where, I don't know if y'all heard of Reverend Daughtry. You heard of Reverend Daughtry? Well, he conducted meetings for my son every Wednesday. He opened a church, the House of the Lord Church in Jersey City. And we was doing it in another church, the meetings and everything. And I mean, as the weeks went by, the crowd was just getting smaller. It's like people just didn't care no
Well,
more.
I want to just say this, I don't mean to cut you off. I have an aunt and uncle, and the older people in here are familiar, that were placed in prison for a murder that they didn't commit. And it took about 12 years for them to get exonerated of the charges.
Right.
And my grandmother, she's deceased now, but she would always say, if you believe in something, and you know you didn't do nothing wrong, believe God and continue to fight.
Right.
And it will work itself out.
I'm gonna
You
fight
know,
this.
so the most important thing, you know this fight, and don't keep yourself well in health.
I'm
And I know
trying.
it's hard to say, because I'm not in your position,
I'm trying
but
my
just
hardest.
from hearing your story,
My,
I have so much.
do you know how much I worry about my child
You know
in that
so
state
much
prison every single day?
respect for you.
At night, I pray, and I just ask God to continue to watch over him, because he's been watching over him since day one, because he's still here. And it's such a blessing, and I feel for so many people that lost loved ones, you know. But I don't know how to feel, because my son survived, so, you know. But I can imagine the pain that they go through when they lose a loved one. So, you know, so I'm just, you know, I came, Bob invited me, and it's even bringing tears to my eyes. But, you know, I'm gonna fight with this, and I'm gonna fight this to the end. They have not won yet, because
Right.
my son appeal
Right.
is coming up, and they have not won yet. And I'm hearing things now, guys are telling me on the street that the cop that shot my son is on desk duty, because they know that my son appeal is coming up, and they know that this cop done
Gross negligence.
a lot of things. You violated the Attorney General guidelines
Right,
after you shoot somebody in the head, tried to kill him.
right. Gross
Because when you
negligence.
aim for the head,
But this is the reason why they wanna, once they, you know, got the cover up on, they don't wanna go unmask that, because not only will they owe you a substantial amount of money,
this
cause I'm dealing with the same thing, but I got this. I got
is the same
My
thing.
situation is solid. I got it. And you know, I have so much, like, if I could sit up and do a jumping jack or do a backflip right now, and I didn't have this blue on, I would do it, because I'm so happy, because I truthfully didn't want to do this to him, but when I seen so much of the injustice going on in the prison, and so much of the treating the elderly bad, and treating the inmates and talking to them like they're dogs.
Yes.
Being just so unbecoming in conduct, and thinking that badge that you have, that really is meaningless.
Mm-hmm.
Because one thing I know for sure, man, the state is not going to take that on the chin in my situation.
Mm-hmm.
Because this is a straight embarrassment to the state of New Jersey.
Right.
I could have been went to the news and like put my story out. Here go the pictures
Mm-hmm.
of staff members parking. This is a sergeant parking in a handicap and refusing to move your
To
car
move.
to allow me to park there.
Was he handicapped?
They're not handicapped, non-handicapped staff. Then I go further, because I like to play with people. I love to play. I mean, I really do. I like to play chess. Because I'm gonna make you check me. So, I waited. I let a whole lot of stuff go by. I befriended the girls at the prison. Come over to my house. You can stay night. You can go Saturday, Sunday. Come on over. I got an extra room, towels, sheets, bedding, everything. Let's go. You could go see them Saturday, Sunday. Because I needed them to be my friends.
Right.
North Jersey girls, I let them stay at my house. You gotta wash your butt though, girl, but you can stay, you know. So I befriended them. So I made my way to the Civil Rights Department in Trenton. And they verified my complaint, and I could pass it along, you could see it. And they charged me in prison with public accommodation, discrimination, and reprisal. And I'm not trying to cut you off, but I'm just trying to say, when you feel strong and adamant about anything, go in the deep, in the distance, because they're going to do things to try to block you, because they don't want the exposure. They don't want to pay the money. And no amount of money can ever pay for the damages on the heart and for the injustice you had to deal with your job. No money. I don't care if they gave you $90 million. It's never going to change what you were with through.
It will never bring my son's eyesight back. He will be blind for the rest of his life. And this happened to him when he was just 18 years old. He had just turned 18. Now he's 23. But you know, he's doing good. But when this first happened to him, y'all have no idea how many trips I had to make to the psych ward. He just wanted to kill himself. He didn't want to survive. He said, why should I can't see nothing? So what's the purpose of being here?
Because he got a story to tell.
I told him that. I told him, and now it took him a long time to really, it took him about 4 years to really figure this, you know, I'm still here. I said, son, you're blessed, you know, because usually they don't, you know, you don't survive, but you just lost your eyesight. I know, I have no idea of what you're going through. No, I don't. But I can imagine what you can't, you know, when you can't see, and you were born to see.
Right.
But, you know, I'm still fighting for him, and, you know, I'm just trying to get his story out more and to let, you know, people know that you still can fight. And you know how much money they had to pay my son, and they're gonna still pay.
Yeah, they're gonna pay it.
They're gonna still pay. It's not over.
They don't wanna pay it, but they busted on too many numbers.
Yeah.
They're gonna pay it.
Yeah.
But I just wanted to share it with you, because I already know I'm gonna get the money on the state level, but once they approve you to get the payment, I'm gonna tell them I don't want it. I'm going to the federal court. I already sent my stuff to the federal court, and they already got $1 million fine already. Now they're gonna get a $5 million fine for excessively violating state, local, and federal law. So it's just, I'm taking them through the process, just like they took me through all that pain.
That's right.
Disrespecting me.
That's right.
Treating me bad, violating my civil rights. So now I'm making them sweat. And I have somebody that's on the inside that told me already that the commissioner already done decided that they're all gonna lose their jobs. But they wanna see if they could bluff me and like give me a little bit of money. It's not about the money. The actions of the staff members, the violate state, local, and federal law, is there's no monetary amount of money that you can pay me for that.
That's what they
The
want.
injustice that you've done to me is gonna make me create you done created a whole monster. I'm going to the federal court, but I'm taking my time and waiting and allow the process to go by.
Right. That's what they wanted to
You know?
give to my son. They wanted him to plead with a 5 with a 1 and tell him, oh, you can still get your little lawsuit. He said, why should I plead, Mom? I didn't have no gun. Why should I plead to something that
You're saying
I
you had
didn't
it.
do? Exactly.
So, yeah.
And, you know, that's
Because
the
that'll give
story.
them justification for their actions.
Right.
We don't want to do that.
Right.
And they get mad and they give more time. That's what they do. They sit there and negotiate with you. When you won't fall through for what they want you to do, they pop you.
They plan to keep all with me now too. Still is,
I want to thank everybody for listening to me, and I told a little about my son's story, but y'all have no idea of, you know, but, you know, it's good to let it out, talk about it to, you know, different people, and So thank y'all very much.
You're welcome.
We're gonna have